I grab my headset from my locker, and I head to line up for roll call and assignments. Today I'm assigned to admin, which is taking both emergency and non-emergency calls. I walk in the phone room, find an empty console, and plug in my headset. I am ready to get this day started. I always wonder what the day will bring. A bank robbery, a big old fight, or illegal parking, and kids who won't go to school. I turn on my mental dispatcher switch, and I start taking calls. Call volume is pretty light, and I'm catching up with some coworkers when a 911 call comes into my console. 911, what's your emergency? I'm going to jump off a bridge. Where are you calling from, sir? It doesn't matter. Where are you headed? They'll find me when I'm done. Without a location, I can't send help. Luckily, he's calling from a smartphone, so I can kind of see his general area on my map where he's calling from. I use that information to get a call started, and officers are being dispatched to the middle of Balboa Park. What's your name, so I don't have to keep calling you sir? My ID is in my pocket. They'll know it when they find me. I am desperate for information to try to connect with him, anything to literally talk him down. Can you give me a general description of yourself? How old are you? What are you wearing? Again, it doesn't matter. I'm feeling helpless. My job is to protect and serve. He's calling me for help, but he won't let me help him. I can't protect him. I'm still continuing to follow him southbound on my map and updating the information for the officers in the area. What has caused you to feel this way today, sir? No response. What about friends, loved ones? Surely they care about you. They wouldn't want you to follow through with this. This is a very permanent solution to a temporary problem. I can't think of them right now. I can only think of this. Officers familiar with the area are driving to nearby bridges to look for my caller. And now I can hear the sound of cars. I realize he's on a bridge, and I can hear the cars rushing by on the freeway below him. This cannot happen. Not today. His perception was the only option he had to help whatever he had going on was to end his life. Imagine that your every day is filled with voices in your head telling you that you're a terrible person and you should just kill yourself. Maybe you believe somebody lives in your attic and they move things around while you're gone. Maybe you hear voices coming from your unplugged TV set. Maybe you feel that you have hit rock bottom, and the only option that you have is to take your own life. For this person, that is their life. They are actually experiencing this. It actually exists for them. How do you reason with that? How do you bridge the gap between what is real and what isn't? I need to try to see things from their perspective and make adjustments. At the very basis level, we're human, and I need to try to connect with that. On occasion, people create their own truths, usually to avoid taking accountability for their actions. These problems are harder to solve as their truth remains fluid, always changing to suit their situation. They know the actuality of the situation, but they refuse to accept it. We make regrettable life choices sometimes. We're human. But what we do with or learn from these experiences is what defines us. Our usual day is filled with the unusual. We expect the unexpected. How someone reacts to a situation is not always reasonable. I've heard the mother of a 7-year-old child who had gone missing in the middle of the night sound eerily calm. Alternately, I've heard a lady screaming and freaking out because there's a naked man outside her business. We once had a 6-year-old call us telling us about how her father had been molesting her. In reality, it was a 26-year-old woman calling to tell us what had happened to her at that age. She sounded just like a child. Just when I thought I had heard everything. I hadn't. So I can only imagine the confusion on the officers' faces when they got there. Did they encounter a 26-year-old woman or a very mature-looking 6-year-old child? I've listened to a man beat his wife as his child calls 911, crying for help. A desperate husband with 2 toddlers whose wife has just shot herself in her closet as he holds her as she struggles to breathe. An adult son beating and urinating on his mother on Christmas Eve while she is heard screaming and pleading for help in the background. Every situation is different and unique. It's as if someone takes a jigsaw puzzle, dumps it in your lap, takes the box away, and says, now put that together. We have to take all of these pieces of information that are being thrown at us and use them to create a picture that makes sense, gets the proper help, and attempts to create a solution. We take 1.4 million calls a year. After 12 years on the job, that is a lot of heartache and sadness. I only hear the worst. Nobody calls us when they're having a good day. I probably should have given up hope long ago, realizing that people can be mean and do terrible things to each other. But my job is awesome and amazing. The amount of lives that I get to touch is just fantastic. For a small moment, I get to share a sliver of their existence with them. And maybe I make a difference. Maybe I'm that lifeline they needed in their time of crisis. Maybe I'm able to change their way of thinking to put them on a better path than the one they had previously been on. Every day, we log into our computers, plug in our headsets, and do the best we can with the information that we're given. So getting back to my call. I'm constantly updating my screen to see if there's any officers' comments on my incident. And then I notice there's a little cop car right by where my caller is calling from. I refresh my screen again, and I see the officer's comments. Male, on bridge, on cell phone. We got him. That's my guy. They make contact, they make sure that he's okay, and they take him to get the help that he needs. What I didn't realize was the whole time I was in the zone. The rest of the room ceased to exist. It was just me and my caller. All of a sudden, there is a huge adrenaline dump and a flood of emotions. I log off my computer, I throw my headset on the desk, and I beat it to the ladies' room. I'm angry and glad, frustrated and relieved all at once. These emotions need an outlet, and I cry for the first time at work. That was 7 years ago. We have to work on a wing and a prayer. Just think, if they had passed him earlier, they wouldn't have known it was him, as we had no description to go on. If they had found him later, it would be too late, and he would be dead. The universe brought them all together at the right place and at the right time to save a life. Bottom line is, we're all human. Everyone has value. We have different choices, different experiences, but you never know what the person next to you is going through day to day, what realities they may be facing. Long ago, Plato said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." That hasn't changed. So after all these years, of dealing with all manners of emergencies and crisis, the best advice that I can give to you is have empathy for those around you. We may not walk in the same footsteps as someone else, but we certainly can walk next to them and maybe reach out and take their hand. Thank you.